So did you figure out your next fight?
Gonna skip the rematch with delay and going straight to something bigger.
How big?
Like the Rand big.
Holy shit, how much?
You've got to be able to take some disappointment in life too. Not always is everything gonna go well. So you just have to roll with the punches when adversity hits you.
It was hard, ladies and gentlemen, and I was facing financial difficulties in my own life. I was behind on my bills and my dreams, and I'm saying to them, you can live your dream. It was hard, ladies and gentlemen. It was very difficult to pick myself up each day believing that I could do it. There were times that I doubted myself. I said, God, why is this happening to me? It was very hard. And here's what I want to say to you. For those of you that have experienced some hardships, don't give up on your dream.
If you're always winning, then you don't really understand what it is to win. You got to take those losses. You got to take those hits. There's got to be the valleys, the peaks, the ups, the downs. In order for you to, when it does happen, you go, wow, qué rico. You know, this is what it's all about. And not only that, it's never about making it, guys. It's always about maintaining it. That's the toughest part.
You know, and a lot of people have that. They're scared. They're scared of failure.
I think people are scared. I think people lack self-esteem.
But failure is one of the most important things you could ever have, as far as like the motivation to do things differently. One of the reasons why I'm good at work is because I've been a worker in the past, and I know the feeling of failure.
Even when you lose, it's okay to lose, but you can't never get comfortable in it.
So I really had 2 failures before I succeeded with GoPro.
How do those failures drive you today?
Well, at the time they scared me, right? And failure isn't easy. It wasn't like I thought, oh, cool, I failed. And success has taught me that one of the most important things an entrepreneur can have is perseverance. The dedication, a willingness to fail, pick yourself up again and give it another shot. Because if you don't have that, if you don't have that grit, you're going to get run over.
It's the reinforcement of those goals, like understanding that you can achieve those goals. It's going to be difficult. You're going to push through the difficulty, and then you're going to understand what difficulty truly is and how much of it is just mental, how much of it is just in your mind, this adversity to difficult task or to struggle.
I fell so many times and got back up. I've been through the toughest times with my family, but I'm still standing.
I got rejected a couple times, and then I just kept asking and asking and asking. And I remember my dad saying, just stick with it. Someday you'll have your day. And then I came back, I think, 2 years later and finally got an agent.
The differential of somebody winning and losing has nothing to do with their genetics, has nothing to do with their potential. It's their perseverance, always showing up. A person that's willing to gamble it. If you show up, then you have a chance. If you don't show up, the outcome's simple. Never there, like an audition. If you show up to the audition, there's a chance you might get the part. If you're too scared to show up and you sit back at home, wondering what if and everything else, no one in hell is gonna call you an opportunity because you weren't present. The winners always show up. They're willing to lose in order to gain. Big mental thing there, guys.
Everyone can take action. Literally, if it's that simple, if all it takes to succeed is the ability to know what you want, take action, know if it's working, and keep changing until you get what you want, how come everybody doesn't do it?
You go after and you give it all you have. If you lose, at least you tried, man. I failed. It's 10 times more of a man than someone said, what if? Because what if never went to the arena.
The reason is fear. And the fear is usually fear of failure or success or rejection. But the real word I would use for this thing we're afraid of is pain.
When you guys find a fear, that fear will either create you or destroy you. I love fear. And the reason why, behind every fear is the person you want to be. Fear is self-imposed, meaning it doesn't exist. You create it, you can destroy it too. It's an intangible. If you face your fears, guys, you will realize it's not that big. You face your fears, you become the person you want to be. You run from your fears, you're not living. You're alive, but you're not taking the freedom. You're not running the day. The day's running you. You always be the f***ing servant, not the master, guys. If you find a fear, the quickest, the easiest way you can beat it is initially, right when it comes in. If you allow it to sit, it will grow roots and start breaking you down, destroying the potential of the person you can be. Again, the champions, guys. It's not their potential, it's not their genetics. It's their perseverance to always show up, always willing to fail, because in failure, that's part of success. Success is not, a marathon of life with just ups. Success is formulated through failures, through facing your fears, through falling down and getting back up. That's what creates the champion. Success does not define us. We define the success.
Shame, failure, embarrassment, and I just remember feeling this tremendous shame. And at some point, I think we all hit that moment in life where things just are not going how you thought they would go. And what's amazing about those moments is we all respond very differently.
Persevere. Nothing worthwhile is easy. No one of achievement has avoided failure, sometimes catastrophic failures. But they keep at it. They learn from mistakes. They don't quit.
The second restaurant failed, and they held on to it for too long. So by the time that they closed the second restaurant, it was an $800,000 loss. And so I found myself at the age of 41, just feeling like a complete failure.
I'm not done yet. All right, I got more in me.
When you come up with excuses for why other people are successful and you're not, that is dangerous. We all go through hard times. We all go through depression. We all go through doubt and moments in your life where it's really difficult and you're trying to figure out what the your path is going to be. It's hard as shit. But that is what makes you a person. And those difficult moments are what build your character.
Every transformation always gets worse before it gets better. It's supposed to be that way. The journey you're embarking on is not an easy path. It's not for the ill-hearted or the weak-natured. It's for the strong people. And before you embark on this journey, mentally, you have to prepare yourself for it, knowing it's going to get worse before it gets better. When you embark this journey, you must know that it's going to go down before it comes up. But when it comes up, it's going to go so much higher than you've ever been. Sacrificing today for tomorrow's betterment. You have to be equipped mentally to endure this process. Knowing what you're about to go into is step one. Knowing it's an uphill battle, but a winnable one and one that's achievable. And at the end of this race, guys, you're going to be more capable. The first step, guys, is knowing it's a tough road. But through that effort, builds the character of the person you want to be at the end. Accept that. If you believe it, your body physically will find a way to make it happen.
At some point, we all bought into this lie that you gotta feel ready in order to change.
Yeah.
We bought into this complete falsehood that at some point you're gonna have the courage, at some point you're gonna have the confidence, and it's total bullshit, frankly. It's complete garbage. And so there are so many people in the world, and you may be watching this right now, and you have these incredible ideas, and what you think is missing is motivation. And that's not true. Because the way that our minds are wired, and the fact about human beings, is that we are not designed to do things that are uncomfortable, or scary, or difficult.
What was the biggest lie you were told?
It's not that simple.
Why not?
No, that's the biggest lie I was ever told. It's not that simple. And it's a lie they tell you over and over again.
What's not simple?
Any of it. All of it. It's how they get you to give up. They say it's not that simple, Vinny.
So what's the truth?
That it is. That if you just do the thing that they tell you you can't, then it's done. And you realize it is that simple. That it always was.
Dr. Carter had a tear in his eye. I could tell he felt for me. And he said, son, I'm sorry to say you're not going to box again. And I looked at him. I said, no, Dr. Carter, you're wrong. I am going to box again. You see, you don't understand what kind of man I am.
And after the Second World War, we were occupied by America, by France, by Russia, by England. And there was no food around. There was poverty. There was literally, the worst condition was worse than during the war. And so in that kind of an environment, it made me feel as a kid always that I wanted to get out of there and that I deserved better than that. And I always was dreaming about coming to America. America was always the land of opportunity. So I always shot for the top. No matter what it is, I was so hungry for success. I was so hungry to get out of Austria. I was so determined. I had this fire in the belly. And I always, like I said, dreamt big. In bodybuilding, when I got into bodybuilding, it was not just to become a bodybuilding champion, but I wanted to be the greatest bodybuilder of all times. I always shoot for the top because I always feel like if you have a great vision and you think big, then you're also going to end up big. If you think little, by accident, no one ever has gotten big. You have to have a very clear vision of where you want to go in your career. You cannot get into bodybuilding and think that just by exercising every day, that by accident you're just going to be a world champion. As I said earlier, you have to have a very clear vision and you have to see it in front of you. And then you got to go and shoot for the stars. The bigger you shoot, the further you go. I want to be another Reg Park, that I want to be in London winning the Mr. Universe contest. I saw myself with the trophy in the hand. I saw hundreds of bodybuilders around me looking up at me, idolizing me, and thousands of people up there cheering and standing ovation. That's what I saw. And exactly 5 years later, with 5-6 hours of training like a fanatic, I was standing on that stage in London and I won the Mr. Universe contest with the age of 20 as the youngest Mr. Universe ever. That teaches you right away a lesson, because the lesson was for me, you got to have a clear vision and then go after that vision. Why is that important? Because it brings joy to you. Every set that I did, every rep that I did, every 500 pounds I lifted, every 1,000 sit-ups that I did brought me joy, because it took me one step closer to turning that vision into reality. So many people don't enjoy their jobs. In America, for instance, in the latest study, it said that 74% of the people in America don't enjoy their jobs. Now imagine you work all year and all your life and you don't enjoy your job. This is because they didn't have a vision in the first place. That's why I say always to young kids, before you go out after college or before college or whatever, think about it, what you really want to do. Don't listen to your parents, don't listen to your coaches, to your mentors and all of those things. You can listen to them, but in the end, you have to make the decision. Because I tell you, my parents had no interest in bodybuilding at all. My mother and my father wanted me to have the regular Austrian life. They wanted me to follow my father's footsteps and become a police officer. They wanted me to marry a girl by the name of Heidi and have 5 kids. But that's not the life that I wanted. I wanted to go to America. I wanted to be a world champion in bodybuilding. I wanted to get into movies and be a movie star and all this. They didn't understand that, and they were totally against all of that. The bottom line is, if you keep focused and you can see your goal, then it never should be a big problem, because remember, everyone, no matter how successful you are, you will have failures. Don't ever fool yourself. I have had many, many failures. movies that went in the toilet that didn't work well. In my bodybuilding, I lost competitions, and in my personal life, I've had failures. This is what happens. But what makes you a winner is that when you fail, you get up again and you dust yourself off and you keep going towards your goal.
In one word only, how did a small town boy from Austria become one of the most famous people on earth?
Dream. I was poor because I didn't have anything. I had no money, I had no things, we had no TV, we had no refrigerator, we had nothing as kids. But I was rich because I had a dream. I had a dream of becoming the greatest bodybuilder, and I had a dream to use bodybuilding as a means to get into films. But I had no idea that it would go as far as it did.
Every second you spend thinking about what somebody else has is taking away from time that you could create something for yourself. You're losing. You're losing because you're laying in your bed looking at somebody's fucking glamorous photoshopped picture of them doing something cool, and you're envious and you're jealous and you're impatient, and it's crippling your upside.
Yeah, because that's where I want to be, and I know I'm not there yet.
You haven't done shit.
I know.
So go do shit that actually gets you there so that you earn it, instead of like you dwelling that you're not there and hoping something's gonna happen. I don't know what's going through your mind. You've got to deploy patience, and you've got to love the process. I'm addicted to the process of the battle scars, the setbacks, the lack of, Taylor, I gave up my entire 20s, all of them. Imagine not doing anything fun or going anywhere for the next 8 years, including Saturday and Sunday. That's what I did from 22 to 30. Every day I spent 15 hours a day in a liquor store, thought about a liquor store, built a liquor store, sold wine. If you really want to win, you need to stop giving a shit about what anybody else has and realize that if you put your head down and just work for the next 10 years, no glamour, no new fucking car, suitcase, jewelry, trip, event, no Coachella, no fucking new fucking sneakers, like fucking work, you will have it. And every time you care about one of the things I just mentioned, it will slow down your process of having it.
The single most powerful idea anyone looking to succeed in anything, sports, career, fitness, finance, or life can embrace is that success does not come from making a few major important decisions correctly, and in fact it's very much the opposite. The truth is, success happens when you make the smallest, seemingly easiest, apparently most insignificant decisions correctly, consistently, every day, for a long time.
In order to achieve success, it's not about doing this crazy, brilliant thing. It's not about the dramatic action where you think, it's like you just go against all odds, defy all odds, and it's this one dramatic action that gets you there. It's not about mastering, this complex skill. It's not about having this, innovative, disruptive idea that just changes the entire world. It's like, how can I disrupt the world? Like, that's how I, achieve success. In reality, if you want to achieve success, it's about mastering the small, simple things.
It doesn't matter what you're born with. It doesn't matter your potential, how much, the silver spoon of money you have. All of that can be attained if you show up and you're willing to risk failure for success. You have to be equipped mentally to endure this process. Knowing what you're about to go into is step one. Knowing it's an uphill battle, but a winnable one and one that's achievable. Success has nothing to do with potential. It's all about the perseverance of somebody. That's what champions do. They show up to the event every single day.
Your life comes down to your decisions, and if you change your decisions, you will change everything.
Motivation has nothing to do with it. See, most people are waiting for motivation when motivation is just a spark to get things moving, but it's your commitment that gets you to the gym every single time. You don't go because you're motivated. You see, you don't do the things you know you need to do to reach your goals because you're motivated to do those things. You do them because you've got the mindset of a machine. You just say, every Tuesday, Thursday, this is what I do. Every Tuesday, Thursday, this is what I do. Every Tuesday, Thursday, this is what I do. You just fucking do it because that's what you set out to do. When the time comes to do the thing, you just do the thing. You don't think about it. You don't wait for the muse. You don't wait for motivation to come. Motivation's some bullshit. You don't need motivation. You need commitment and discipline. When you are moving towards something that's important to you, when you've got a big vision, when you're working towards a goal, you don't want to sit down. You can't rest. Every single waking moment of your day is dedicated to moving forward, and sleep is like the cousin of death. And you need to get busy, focused on where you're going, so much so that everything else is a distraction.
You should seek failures. See, if you're playing it safe, you're not going to win. If you're playing it safe, like that old saying, you know, you were taught when you're a little girl, better to be safe than sorry. Well, that's a bunch of crap. It's not better to be safe than sorry. It's by trying things that you figure out how far you can go. You got to get outside the box. Like it's reported Edison tried 3,000 ways before he built the incandescent light. He said he didn't fail 3,000 times. He said there was 3,000 different steps to building a light bulb. Well, there's different steps to get to where you're going. And I really do treat winning and losing exactly the same. I do not let it upset me.
Do you think that's a big part of why you're so successful?
Well, it's part of why I enjoy it. Yeah, I think it is, because I'll try anything. Like if I'm into an idea, the idea of losing never enters my mind.
You're going to get thrown to the ground again and again and again. But when you have determination and you know that what you're doing is right, it gives you your life, it gives a special meaning and power to you, you will have some power from on high. You will discover some things about yourself that will begin to electrify your personality. You'll begin to discover some things about you that you don't know you've got.
You have to understand, I don't give a fuck about the end goal. I care about the process, the enjoyment of doing it. You're not enjoying yourself trying to get to $1 million over the next 3 years. You need to start fucking loving the process and the work and the grind. You need to start respecting people that are like sleeping with 4 roommates and buying their t-shirts at Walmart. Don't beat yourself up. Don't hold yourself accountable to arbitrary bullshit fantasies. Just put in work and enjoy that. Enjoy eating shit and dirt and bleeding and the grind, and don't give a fuck about what anybody else thinks, why you haven't done it, why are you doing that.
What I will not do is I will not quit. And so I'm saying to somebody right now that's watching me, baby, you got greatness all inside of you. You got greatness all inside of you. But your problem is you a scaredy cat. You soft. And every time it get hard, you quit and you give up.
Okay, success is a process of simple positive actions repeated consistently over time. Okay, it's not this crazy thing. It's the simple stuff that you already know how to do. Okay, there's nothing missing, and this is big. Like, we always tend to think that in order to be successful, we need this superhuman skill or ability. Not really, okay? You already have it all, and you already know how to do it, okay? Successful people, they don't have anything that you don't have, okay? We're all cut from the same cloth. The more you hang out with them, and this is something that I'd highly recommend doing, the more you can kind of see behind the scenes, the more you realize, like, shit, you know, they're just like me.
Successful people do what they have to do, whether they feel like it or not. Successful people do what they have to do, whether they feel like it or not. Successful people do what they have to do, whether they feel like it or not. You should tell yourself that 1,000 times a day. Repeat it over and over and over and over again, because you're gonna bump up against resistance. There's shit you're not going to want to do. But if you want to be successful, right? And like I said, the very first thing is you've got to figure out what success means to you.
If you would be willing to fight your way through it, if you would be willing to fight your way through this battle, fight your way through cancer, fight your way through that academic struggle, fight your way through divorce, fight your way through it. If you are willing to fight your way through that singing career, fight your way through boxing, fight your way through football. If it was easy, everybody would do it. And so my season finale is you gotta fight your way through it. You gotta fight the fear, because guess what? Fear ain't bigger than you.
Work. That's the answer to all these questions.
It doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter if you're tired. It doesn't matter if you're overwhelmed. You find out a fucking way to overcome that challenge of your feelings, and you make that shit happen. You understand? Get clear about what you want and brainwash yourself to do it.
You've got to do you, but please don't let the entrepreneurial society, don't let me, don't let your parents push you into what success is. It's different for all of us, but, and this is the big but, you got to be self-aware about it. Slow and steady wins the race. You're only competing with yourself. Nobody else defines you, not me, not everybody watching, not your mom, you.
Your life is your life. Don't let it be clubbed into dank submission. Beyond the watch, there are ways out. There is a light somewhere. It may not be much light, but it beats the darkness. Beyond the watch, the gods will offer you chances. Know them. Take them. He can't beat death, but he can beat death in life, sometimes. And the more often you learn to do it, the more light there will be. Your life is your life. Know it while you have it. You are marvelous. The gods wait to delight in you.
I want you to know something, that the bigger your dream is, I want you to understand the harder the grind. There, listen to me. Luck is for leprechauns, and you ain't green. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's right here under the shirt. I'm gonna take the jacket off. I'm gonna show you. I have that one on today. Luck is for leprechauns, and you're not green. I'm gonna say it again. Luck is for leprechauns, and you're not green. I'm not bringing you a fairy tale. What I am telling you is that if you're willing to go beast mode, you can have whatever you want. I'm a living example. You can start from nothing. Start from nothing. You know the story. Mom was a teenage mom. Start with nothing. Grandma had 14 kids. Start with nothing. 2-bedroom house, 1 bathroom. Mom got kicked out because she had me. Start with nothing. Start with nothing, high school dropout. Start with nothing, homeless. 12 years to get a 4-year degree from the university. Start with nothing if you are willing to grind.
In one word only, How did a small town boy from Austria become one of the most famous people on earth?
Dream.
Dream.
Dream. I was poor because I didn't have anything. I had no money, I had no things, we had no TV, we had no refrigerator, we had nothing as kids. But I was rich because I had a dream.
You had a dream.
I had a dream of becoming the greatest bodybuilder, and I had a dream to use bodybuilding as a means to get into films. But I had no idea that it would go as far as it did.
Notice when I said beast mode now, I'm not talking about the lion. When I talk about beast mode now, I'm talking about the ant that's very small, but that can probably lift 100 times his weight. I'm saying that some of you in this room, you might not be a lion yet. Some of you in this room, you might be an ant. You might have small beginnings. You might not have a lot of money. You might not have a lot of resources, but there's no excuse. You said, E.T., I'm not that lion. You might be the ant. And the ant has very little, but he's determined, he's strong. He has a dream and a goal, and he'll do whatever it takes. And I need you to understand that the bigger your dream is, the earlier you're gonna have to get up.
Growing up, I grew up, I wasn't the richest, but I had a rich family in spirit and in support. And standing here with 19 championships is something I never thought would happen. I went on the courts with just a ball and a racket and a hope, and that's all I had. And it's inspiring for all you guys out there that want to do something and want to be the best that you can be and want to do the best that you can do. You just never give up, because you never know what can happen. You never know who you can inspire and who you can influence.
There are two ways to be successful, right? And I don't subscribe to the first one. That's just natural talent. Right? And I just don't believe people who are naturally talented are better than me. I believe effort, and you've heard me say it. Your mama might come from privilege. Your daddy might come from privilege. Your daddy might own a company. You might come from privilege. You might have a father that can give you everything your little heart desires, but you will not outwork me.
I could hear the voice. I could hear my mom's voice. I could hear those words, you can do or be anything. I will also never forget hearing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once say, if you're going to be a garbage man, you should seek to become the best garbage man. Those lessons from my mom, those words from Dr. King, I knew all I got to do is find my button. What is that one thing that just turns me on? And I talk to people about this all around the world, and the truth is, I cannot tell anyone how to find their button, but I do know this. A lot of us already know, we're just afraid to push it.
Why do you think that is?
We're afraid to push it because some people might not dig it. Some people might not say it's okay. Some people are going to say, you're going to do what? Why are you going to do that? Forget that. We've got people in this room right now, journalists. At some point, somebody in this room made a decision, I'm going to be a journalist. I'm going to be a writer. And at some point, somebody in their lives probably said to them, a what? Writer? How you going to pay the rent? Who's a writer? Right? Well, we got journalists sitting here right now because they believed. You got to be able to see it with the eyes in your soul.
I don't really like those words. Self-help or self-management or self-improvement. I don't really like what those words have come to mean these days. Because there's a lot of people out there that are constantly trying to improve themselves by looking for the one change. The one change, right? The one change in their life that's gonna make their dreams come true. I'm no guru. And I definitely don't claim to be. I'm just a man. But I will tell you this. It isn't one thing. And it isn't 10 things. And it isn't 100 things. It isn't a quick path. And there are no shortcuts. Meditation won't get you there, and neither will a miracle drug or an organic supplement or some superfood. Getting better isn't a hack or a trick or a one change that you need to make. Getting better is a campaign. It's a campaign. It's a daily, a weekly, it's an hourly fight. An incessant fight that doesn't stop against weakness and against temptation and against laziness. It's a campaign of discipline. It's a campaign of hard work and dedication. It's waking up early and going to bed late and grinding out every second in between. Every single day. So, you want to get better? You want to self-improve? Stop looking for a shortcut and go find your alarm clock and find your discipline and find your guts and your passion and your drive and find your will. And then you will find your freedom.
We know from our past experiences that big things start small. The biggest oak starts from an acorn, and you've got to recognize, if you want to do anything new, you've got to be willing to let that acorn grow into a little sapling and then finally into a small tree, and maybe one day it'll be a big business on its own. Basically, you can't skip steps. You have to put one foot in front of the other. Things take time. There are no shortcuts, but you want to do those steps with passion and ferocity.
Those days when I'm tired or worn out or just basically sick of the grind. What do I do on those days? I go anyways. I get it done, even if I'm just going through the motions. I go through the motions. I don't really want to work out. I work out. I really don't want to hammer on a project. I hammer on the project. Don't really want to get up and get out of bed. Yeah, I get up and get out of bed. Now, these could be signals that you need some time off. And those signals might be right. They could be correct. But don't take today off. Not today. Wait until tomorrow. Don't give in to the immediate gratification that is whispering in your ear. Shut that down. Do not listen to that little voice. Instead, go through the motions. Lift the weights, sprint the hill, work on the project, get out of bed. Now, as an overall rule, I do not like procrastination. You need to get things done. But if you are going to rest, that is one thing that you should procrastinate on. That's the one thing I want you to put off until tomorrow. And if, when tomorrow comes, you still feel like you need to rest or you need to take a break, then okay. Take it. But the chances are you won't. You won't need that rest. Chances are you will realize that the desire to rest was just weakness. It was just the desire to take the path of least resistance, the downhill path, the easy path. And by simply going through the motions, you overcame that path. And you stayed on the righteous path, the disciplined path. You stayed on the warpath, which is right where you know that you belong.
What I find so interesting is how we, as a species, run from pain, we run from suffering. So in the end, like, what would your advice be to that 16-year-old kid who's staring in the mirror, does not like what he sees, but is still running from adversity?
Well, my biggest advice to him is that, first of all, he won't like what I say to him, because I'm gonna say the exact opposite of what the world, today's world, is saying. So we read a bunch of books nowadays. As humans, we want to find out how to be someone else. What we don't do is we don't go inside. So literally turn yourself inside out. Read the book that's like we're writing a book every day of our lives, but we never read that book. So what I would challenge this young man or young woman to do is you have to look inside of yourself to see what you really want. What are you passionate about? We use these words and these little phrases of only the strong survive and all this other crap. They're all just fucking words. I get so tired of hearing people just talking. Like right now, someone may think Goggins is just talking. You don't know me. So when I speak from passion. I speak from experience. I speak from suffering. I have to tell this young man or woman that the only way I believe, this is my experience in life, the only way you're ever going to get to the other side of this journey is you have got to suffer to grow. To grow, you must suffer. And some people will get it, some people won't.
A life without pain is a life without challenge, and a life without challenge is a life without growth. So not only do I embrace the challenge, embrace the pain associated with challenge and growth, but I even look forward to it in many regards. Some people think I'm strange, but sometimes I even ask for it. Send me a challenge, God, that you think should rid the world of pain. I invoke, please, give me some challenges here, because I need to be tested. I need to be stronger. I need to grow in my resolve with whatever weakness is in my character. Pain is a beautiful thing. Challenge is what life is about. A life without challenge, a life without pain, is a life without growth. And where there is no growth, there is stale, stagnant energy. And that's where most people live. Because most people's lives are designed around treading a path that is void of challenge. The minute they recognize challenge or pain, they move the other way. This is a primal instinct and normal and natural, but a weak perspective. Most people are bored if you ask them, what do you think about your life? Same old, same old. Every single day, what's the thing? Same day, same shit, different day. Things of this nature. That's because they're living their lives in a lie that is shrouded in comfort. It doesn't exist. They're not challenged, they're not growing, they're bored, and they're better off dead. Your aliveness is found in your pain. Embrace it, love it, and grow from it.
Even the hardest men, in times of suffering, what we do is we forget how hard we really are. Because that's what suffering is. Suffering is a test. That's all it is. Suffering is the true test of life.
How do you find and cultivate that drive? Like, there is a kid right now watching this, man, and they feel like you felt. They feel lost, alone, broken, stupid, lazy, like they're never going to amount to anything. How does he force himself to take that first step?
My biggest advice to give everybody in the world is, like I say, we live in an external world. Everything is you got to see it, touch it, it's external. If you can, for the rest of your life, live inside of yourself. Stop listening to people who are calling you fat, gay, transsexual, nigger. Everything that is makes no sense. All these insecure people putting their insecurities on you, you gotta flush it out. You gotta just be whoever the hell God or whatever the hell you believe in. If you believe in nothing but yourself, I don't care what it is. You gotta take everything and throw it away. You have to believe in one thing, and that is yourself.
There are a few things you just can't learn from a textbook. That you have to live through, to see, to be fully entrenched in. Because here is a simple truth. This world is a tough place. So that means every second, every step of the way from where you are right now until you cross the finish line depends on you and your thoughts. How you internalize failure, how you look at setbacks. When no one is around to pat you on the back or tell you how great you are, will you have enough self-belief to move forward? And that means that when you're looking in the mirror, you believe in what's staring back at you.